Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic. Today we're going to talk about my new harness here. I'm really excited for this. I've been testing it and playing with it, and I'm very impressed with some of the features that this thing has. It is very lightweight for its size. Okay, I actually put this on a scale. It's 2 pounds 8 ounces, which is lighter than most of your full body harnesses that are out there. It's not as light as the lightweight one I used last year, which was a lot lighter, but this is substantially safer and easier. And the reason I wanted to go with something quite like this was a few reasons, but main one being, I've slipped steps before, and I've also fallen before and had my lineman belt catch me. And I'll tell you what, it's hard on the body. And as I'm getting older, I mean, I'm 47 years old, it's when stuff like that happens, it takes you out of the hunt for a couple of days. You're just sore, you're beat up, you're in rough shape, and I don't want to deal with that no more. I want to, if something like that happens, I want to be able to shake it right off and just keep right on hunting. And this harness offers a lot of safety, weight distribution, transfer, all that kind of stuff to it. So I'm real excited about it. And like I said, for the size of it, it is still very lightweight. It still folds up very, very compact and goes into your pack. It does not tangle, which is really nice. But as you can see, it's a very small little setup here. It fits right in my pack. It doesn't take a lot of room. So it's a simple featured pack, or excuse me, harness. Now, some of the features of this thing that make it really great, which I will put this on and show you, we'll show you what I'm doing with it, but is that it has got dedicated side loops for a lineman belt. See these right here? These black loops that are on here, these are the same weight rating as the front strap loops are right here. Your main connection point is on here. These are rated the same, so I can use an actual dedicated lineman belt ring, which I have on here. These are an actual Petzel ring that I put on there. I'll put a picture of it in right about here somewhere so you can see. They actually have a spacer that pops out, and then you can slide it on, put the spacer in, and screw it back together. Very, very high quality, climbing rated. This is what these rings are intended for. They are made for this exact purpose of what I'm doing with them and for climbing. So that's a nice feature, having these dedicated loops, which is great. Now, if you wanted to use these side loops that are on here, and you did not want to have to use those rings, you can get a carabiner to hook right onto those real easy and have that room. So it's not that complicated, to use that if you want to. So it's a real easy feature. I like dedicated rings. I like hooking onto those rings where I feel that. When I come in and lock on, I feel that lock of that ring and I know I'm on there. So for me, that's an important feature. So I like that better than just the loops. That's one of the reasons I quit using my other harness, was because I did not like the fabric loops on there. I want a dedicated hard ring. Now these I may zip tie so they stay like in that position. I'm not quite sure, but right now that doesn't even bother me. Now this harness did have another one of these gear loops. See how you got these gear loops on here to hang whatever you want on? Well, this one also had another gear loop that went from here through that down, and it came up on this side right here. I cut that gear loop off just so there was no chance of it being, I didn't want a gear loop anywhere near my tie-off point on here, so for me to mistakenly grab. So I cut that off. Just cut the fabric right there and popped it off, fabric right here and popped it off, and just kind of locked that down. So, but that's the only thing I did to modify this harness, was remove those gear loops. Another nice feature of this is it also has a climb rated tie down point on the back. Now I don't tie off to the back, but if I wanted to, I could actually take my deer, if I'm dragging a deer, jet sled or no jet sled, hook a carabiner right on there and use my body with this awesome support to actually drag that sled or that deer out. So that's a really nice feature, and anybody that wants to tie off to the back, it is an option. There's a tie off point that's climb rated there, and you got all these other places on here too that I can very easily hook my my bow haul line to with my carabiner and just lock it right on there. If I want to bring extra sticks, I can connect them right to this and make it easier so that they're right there and hanging easy. So I like the couple of gear loops that are on here. I got options to put a couple little things on here if I want to. It's just a nice feature. This is probably where I'll have a dedicated carabiner, a mini carabiner sitting on here. I might even have one in my pocket. Do I? No, I don't. But a little small one that I can just hook my bowline loop right into and make it easy. So that's kind of a nice feature of that I like. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this thing on, and we're going to show you some things, because there's a lot going on here that you may not understand. So I'm going to put it on, and then I'll be right back for you. All right, so we got this harness on. As you can see, like I said, very substantial harness, all right? Lightweight, compact, but very substantial. I have never been in something that I feel so safe as I do this harness. This thing is incredible. It is super comfortable, and it is just, like I said, the safety factor of this wide weight distribution belt, the leg pads. If I fall in this, I honestly believe that it will be a fall where my tethers or my lineman belt catch me, and I will bounce right back and just shake it off and then keep right on hunting, not being sore for a couple of days and beat up and my back hurting and things like that. I believe this is going to make a tremendous difference for that. Now, as you can see, you got your tie down rings right here, right where you want them at, which is perfect. And you also have that one in the back if you want it. My gear loops are right here, so they're out of the way, but they're there if I need to access them. Like I said, on one of these little tether drop right here, I'll probably put that little carabiner on there so I can just lock my bow pull-up line too. So very sweet, simple setup. Now, as far as using this, there's a couple things I want to talk about here before we do. First of all, carabiners. I talked about this in a carabiner video, all right? But when you look at this, this is old style carabiner, okay? Right here. When you take this carabiner, you see that notch in there? Those are bad. We don't want these anymore. They snag on everything, okay? When you go to pull this off of a loop, it will snag on that and give you a problem. So you do not want to use these anymore. You want them where they're flat like this. Look at the difference, okay? Snag free on this side, this one being snag free, this one being a snaggable. So you do not want these ones with that notch that can snag on there. Those can be a problem. Sorry about the wind. It's a pretty windy day today. But lineman belt, you run the same one I always do. This is my homemade one, my custom made, you know, my with the rope man ascender, works really good. These are really the only carabiners I'm using in this whole system. Notice there's no carabiners on here. There's reasons for that too. I'll show you that when I get set up by the tree. But I love these rings on here, so when I come in and hook onto these, that is a rock solid connection that I can actually feel. When I come in and hook on this one, I feel that connection of that ring. So it's not like, did I miss the loop? Did I catch a gear loop? Am I in there fishing for that in the dark? That is a very simple process to come in with that carabiner and catch that actual ring. So that's what I really like about these. I like knowing that ring is on there. So that's a big factor for me. So that's a tremendous setup. And then we have this here, which is my tether line, which I leave balled up like this when I'm not in use. And now some people are going to say that rope is connected only to this top one. This rope, they're going to say, should be through both the top and, you know, the leg spot, and also they're going to say this should be going through here and through this one right here together. Okay. When you look this harness up, I can tie to this belay line if I want to, which is strong enough. I can tie through both of them or whatever I want to do. When I put this rope through the top and the bottom, what happens is if I do fall, that's great. That's the way you want it for mountaineering. That's the way you want it for rock climbing. That's the way you want it for tree work, arborist stuff. I get that. But what happens is when I fall, and this is connected to both of them, it pulls up on my legs like this. Okay, it grabs and pulls my legs up. It wants to kind of tip me back. Where if I have it tied here, which is still connected with that belay loop, but when I tie here and I pull, it pulls up from the front and it keeps me straight up and down. It doesn't want to tip me backwards. If this goes through both of them down here, it pulls and yanks on my legs like that. It wants to tip me over backwards a little bit. Great for, like I said, rock climbing, that kind of stuff where you got a rope in front of you, you want to be in a seated position. Me using it as a fall arrest system, I want it where it's going to upright hold me and keep me upright, and this does it. I've talked to tree arborists, professional arborists, and they said that this is completely fine, especially for what we're using it for, and it's going to work out great. So, but that's what I like about that. So I know some people are going to say this should be between both of them. You want to put it between both, go ahead. I'm leaving mine set up this way. And like I said, it is completely safe, so I have no worries there. So that's the setup I'm using. I'll talk about this little dude on here in a few minutes for you when we get into this rope setup and what I'm doing. Because again, This is my tether line. I am using no carabiners. I'm not using carabiners to use this as a safety line to get around branches. I'm not using this, or I mean, I'm using it, but I'm not using carabiners on it to do that. I'm going to show you how that setup works here in 1 sec. All right, for this system here, I'm, like I said, not using any carabiners on this, and there's reasons for that. One, I like the knots better, and I get the adjustability. I don't have to use a rope man on there to adjust my slack. I don't have to use any Prusik knots. I don't have to use any of that stuff, any carabiners. It's just a simple system for me that works very fast. Now, one thing I am using is this notch Quickie, okay? This is this tool that I have on here right here, and it's a pretty powerful tool. I'll show it to you. Hear me pop it off here real quick so you can see it. And what this thing does is it allows me the option here to use a carabiner or use a tie-off point the right way. See, when you take a carabiner, for example, let's talk about that for a minute. So if you're coming into here, we're using this big tree on purpose. But so when you come in, a lot of guys will tie off, they got their tie-off loop on their tether, and then they're gonna carabiner that, okay? They're gonna take that, and I've done this before in the past too. It's dangerous. Even though I was using, 30 kilonewton carabiners, it's still, you should never side load a carabiner like that, all right? So if you were to fall, and this were to pull sideways, this tree's pretty round, so it's almost a straight linear pull. Well, look at the size of this tree. On a smaller tree, you're almost bending that carabiner, and if you fall on this, you can actually snap that carabiner and break it in half, all right? So that's a very risky setup, yet you see guys doing this. They set up like this, but if that thing gets side loaded, bent and pulled in different directions, especially on a smaller diameter tree, you can have a world of problems with a carabiner breaking. Again, something that I did in the past as well too. Now I was using specifically for that purpose 35 kilonewton carabiners because I thought they were stronger, but there's a better tool for you, okay? So no more of the having a knot here, you bring it over and then you just lock on here, and people do that because you want the freedom to move this. So if I'm using this to go up branches, if I hit branches, instead of having to pull the line all the way through and fight with it, it's nice to be able to disconnect the carabiner, come up over your branches and reconnect. I get that, I understand. But the side load dangers of a carabiner are very bad if you're trying to side load them. So I don't recommend a carabiner option for doing that. Nobody really does. So there has to be a better solution, and there is. The better solution is this notch Quickie, which is right here. This is what this is. This thing is basically designed to do everything a carabiner cannot. Look at how nice and compact that is. Okay, smaller than most carabiners. It is steel, so it is a little bit heavier, but what it does is it allows me to use this that way. See, you have a pin that goes through here. This is just some electrical tape I put on there to keep it quiet so it doesn't rattle. But this pin has an ear right there. Where you at here focus wise, has an ear right here and an ear right here. You push those down to slide them. So you can open this, put your rope, can run right into here like this, and then you just close this and it's locked. Okay, now this can pull in any direction, so you can side load this all day long and be fine. To open it, that little tab right there, you push that tab, push it in, roll it, push that other tab that's there, push that in, and then it opens up for you, and now you can put your rope in and out of there real easy. You can take this pin all the way out if you want to. Again, it's such a tight fit, but this electrical tape just makes that thing no rattle in it whatsoever for me. So I'm real happy with this, but I'll put a link to all this stuff down below for you. This is a great feature. With this link, it gives me the option to be able to move this around branches without having to run carabiners, without having to adjust length. So how do I do that? So first of all, this thing here basically just gonna live right on my harness, right here on my harness like this, closed in. That's where that's gonna be at, all right? It'll be closed up and locked there. When I get to the tree, the first thing I do, because I've been using this carabiner-less, a centerless, just this knot system, I've been using it all last year too, and it worked incredible. I will not go back. It may not be for everybody, it may not be what you want, but for me it works perfect, and that's why I got a little extra slack in here. It comes in handy. Remember, I hunt trees that are twice this big around a lot. You get into these big oaks, I have to put extensions on my sticks and my stand to get up in them. So that's the reason I got quite so much slack on here, is so that I have that ability to get around them. There are 2 knots that I use for this whole system, okay, 2 knots. There is going to be a alpine butterfly knot, which is what I use for this tether when I'm going up and down a tree. And then there is a bowline knot that I use when I'm in a tree. I will show you each of them. But, so what I do here is when I get to the tree and I'm getting ready to climb, before I even put my lineman belt on, I'm looking at it going, okay, if I got branches up there, I take this and I'm going to throw it around a tree, grab it. This is a big tree, as you can see here. But so I'm going to grab it and I'm going to say, okay, I want to be able to get up over branches about that high. So right there, so I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay. So once I have that figured out, I'm going to go ahead and put my alpine butterfly knot into this rope right here so that I have it. That's an alpine butterfly knot. See how fast I tied that in just a quick second. This knot will never come undone and it will never jam up. So even if I were to fall on this, it's still very easy to untie. So now I have that knot in there. So as I got my lineman belt wrapped around here holding me there and I got to disconnect that lineman belt to get around a branch, what I do is I have this set already here because I already put this knot in here on the ground based on the size of that tree. I already pre-thought it. So then I take my notch quickie here, this goes on here, I throw this around the tree, I grab it, set it wherever I want it to be at, and I lock into that. And I am done, and that's it. I'm set right there. Now I can disconnect my lineman belt, climb up a little higher, reconnect my lineman belt, and then all I do to disconnect this is push it in once, push it in twice, pull it, and I am free to come out of there. And now I can do that again. Oh man, that hook. That is from an old hammock years ago. But anyway, and then so as I can just drop this, climb up higher if I get the next set of branches. So I'm tied in, locked in like this. Again, good sized trees. But if I am set in here, and I'm right here, and I got to get around another set of branches, before I do, I take this, that preset line height, swing it around the tree. Usually I'm going to go up. Now for keeping it in the frame, I'm not. But normally I'm going way up here so that I can get above and out of the way of any branches. You know, I can maybe skip 3 or 4 or 5 branches at once. But then all I do is I open this notch quickie, slide that in, close that up, that's set, and that is locked, and that is staying right there. Now I can disconnect my lineman belt here, drop that, climb up higher, remember that's up there, climb up, reconnect this lineman belt, and then I can pop this off. So it's a really quick, simple, effective system. That hook again, there we go. So that notch quickie is a fantastic little tool right there. That thing is just amazing to have, and I'm very happy that I do. I like it a lot. So it's very functional. And you guys that are running tethers or saddles, and you're taking your tether line, and you're used to throwing your tether line around a tree, and then feeding your tether through the loop and locking it in and then adjusting on there and all that, you can do that if you want. But a quick way to do it too, put that on the tree where you want it at, run that notch quickie on there, drop it right in, and set that. And now you have a safe and secure attachment point where you are locked into that tree and set, and you're not going anywhere. So you could use that as your actual tether line, and it is safer than a carabiner. But if you need to move it coming up and down, you can do that. If you're somebody that's a single SRT or SRT kind of guy, you could use this up there real easy. Then before you go to climb down, when you're ready to climb down, just hook your carabiner or put your paracord on here. This slides super easy. So when you're down at the bottom of the tree, you could just hook on that pole and that will come all the way down for you so that you can disconnect. So a lot of great features in this notch quickie. Designed by arborists, for arborists, made for this reason, and it is a fantastic, that stupid hook, it is a fantastic little tool that you may find very worthwhile having. Now again, it is a little bit heavier because it is metal, heavier than a carabiner, but I just take that, put it right on the, latch it right on here, close her up, and it stays there. That's where it's going to stay at all the time, so when I need it. Once I get to the tree height, okay, when I'm up there, I still have my lineman belt connected, so I am safe and set in the tree. We don't ever play games with that, so I'm always connected from the time I get on that first step of my stick till I'm back down to that first step of my stick. So, but before I transfer into my tree, I put a piece of tape on here. You can see it right on here somewhere, wherever you are. That tape is kind of a marker for me. It just gives me an idea of what I'm looking for here. So I do a bowline knot. So I get to the tree, I throw this around the tree where I have it. I kind of find where that knot is. Once I know, or that tape is, that just kind of gives me my idea ballpark thing. I want this up a little higher, about, you know, somewhere between chest and waist high. I take this, I put a quick, real simple, look at how fast this is. Here is a bowline knot. Put it into here that will never come out. Done. That's all I had to do, and I can adjust that length based on any tree, any size I want, and I have the room. Then I run this on my offside like this so that I can shoot anything over here that I want to, and I can also turn and shoot anything I want over here, and I can also step out on the edge of my platform. That's why this, see this space, this should be up there so that I have, that's my marker where I can be in close enough to here where I can stand on the edge of my platform like this, and I can still shoot my bow between here, you know, on this side of the tree and this side of the tree. That's what that little tape marker is for. I'm not on it. I can, now a bowline you can adjust. So I can slide this and slide this in and slide this and get it closer. But now, so I can be on the edge of my stand like this, drop my bow in here, and I can shoot like this all day, come right over top, and I can shoot like this all day. So I have that capability. Again, this should be in a little tighter. When I set that, it's in closer for me, but that's my marker on there. But that bowline knot also, if I were to fall, it does not jam up. It will not lock. I can take this and pull on it, everything I have, and it is simple to untie. There it is. There is no locking it down. It's just sweet and simple. And as you see, that is so fast, you know, it's almost carabiner fast. I come up to the tree, I line it up, put it in there, I set the rope, put it on, put it there, run it back through, and I am tied in. I am done. That's all there is to it. I don't need to do anything else, adjust anything, or mess with anything. I am set. So those are why I like those two knots. Bowline knot, which looks like this. I will show you, I will bring you in tighter, and a, you know, your alpine butterfly knot. So those are all I'm using. So a simple system works really good for me. I'm very happy with it. Let me reframe this camera here, and I can show you how to tie these knots. Actually, the alpine butterfly, I can come over right now and show you, because I can do that one here. So basically, with an alpine butterfly, it is the way that you put a loop in any part of a line, okay? It's not, you are not doing overhand knots like this that I used to do back in the day. When you pull that, that's going to cinch tight. It's impossible to get out, and it's not a safe knot. An alpine butterfly is just as fast to tie, and it is the one of the safest knots you can use in a midline. Take your rope, lay it right over your hand like this, okay? Just lay it right on your hand. Take the working end, okay, with your tail, wrap once, wrap twice. So now I have 3 wraps on my hand like this. Take the middle one. I'm going to pull this underneath that first one so it sticks out like that. Then I'm going to take this one and wrap it underneath, over and under both of them. So I'm taking that, going all the way over, under, and pull it, and you dress it, and then you have this alpine butterfly. They call it an alpine butterfly because you get this crisscross effect here. You can dress this knot up, but this knot will not come apart on you, okay? It does not come apart. So it's a fantastic knot, or not only does it not come apart, it will not come loose. There's no way for that to come loose. That's the best way there is to put a loop in the middle of a line. So if we look at that one more time, really quickly, how easy that is to do. So you lay your hand here, try to get that right in the middle of the frame. Lay your hand here, working end, goes over and over. This one goes under that one, like that. See how it's poking out? Comes over both of them, comes through again, grab the tails, dress the knot, and you're set. That's all there is to it. That is an alpine butterfly. That knot is fantastic. Now for a bowline, I'm going to have to bring you in tighter to the tree so you can see it, because we want to tie it on a tree. So I'll pull you over there right now and show you. All right, for the bowline knot, what we're going to do, we're going to throw it around the tree, grab it. Now, how this works, very simple knot to do. In your main line, you got a working end here. I don't even know what they call this, work line, main line, I don't know. But in the end it's not tied off is your end you're gonna be fishing around. The end is connected to you. We're gonna put a loop underneath. So if you watch, I'm just taking this rope and I'm under looping it, so I have this loop on the underside. See, it's underneath, not over top, but it's underneath right here. Okay, then what I'm doing is I'm taking my rope. This is the rabbit. Okay, this end is the rabbit. For this, let's throw it over that for a second, just for the sake of it. So we have our loop right here. Again, all I did is put a loop underneath here. The rabbit comes out of his hole. He goes behind the tree and around, okay? He doesn't come over top of the tree. He goes behind the tree, comes around, and then goes back into his hole. When he does, and you pull that knot tight, you end up with that knot right there. That is your perfect bowline knot, tied correctly, safe, and not going to come off. If you need to adjust this and make it tighter, you basically just start pulling on your tag end here, okay? And when you do, then you can start feeding your other end back through and working that knot. So it is a tightenable, loosenable, and tightenable knot. It does take a little practice to do it, but you can tighten that up like you see right there too. But that bowline knot is not going to come free. And like I said, no matter what pressure you put on it, it is as simple as feeding it right back through to undo it. So we'll do it one more time here for you. Take your main rope here, fold a loop underneath. So you got that loop, I'm making it big for purposes to see. Rabbit comes out of the hole. He comes out, he goes behind and around the tree, and then he goes right back into his hole again. And when he does, and you pull that, you end up with a perfect bowline knot. So it is very fast. That's how quick this is. I mean, like I said, you get up on your tree, you get set where you want to be at, find my little mark right there, I roll this over, he comes out of his hole right here like this, and I usually just push it through that way. He goes around the back of the tree, he goes right back into the hole, and you pull it tight, and you have basically a set knot right there. See on my markers right there, that's perfect. That lets me lean out on my stand. That lets me be able to tuck my bow in here, draw and shoot this way, bring it over here, draw and shoot this way, and not have it hit the limbs. I got clearance to the limbs, and it gives me my total working distance for this side of the tree, all the way around here, all the way around here. When I'm done, simply undo the knot, pull it through, and then I am set. When I'm finished with everything, I just take this rope right here, I wrap it a couple of times like this, so we get that build up on here just to take that slack out. So again, I use a long one here because of the size of the trees that I'm hunting. So I take this that way, set it up, I flip it over itself once, and then while I have this rope right here, I just start wrapping it right around like this. You know, it's taking me, what, 10 seconds, but it takes this big ball of slack and locks it in, and it just hangs right there out of the way. So sweet, simple, easy, safe setup. Lineman mount goes back in my pack. This comes off, goes in my pack. So it's a great system, and I'm real happy with it. This is not a cheap harness setup, so I know it's not for everybody. Some of you guys are looking at this and you're thinking, you know, that price is expensive at 179 bucks, plus I think it was 20 bucks for each of these rings, 22 bucks for a ring. So you're talking a $200 harness, and I get that. But for me, the safety aspect of this is very substantial. This thing has got a lot of benefit there. I'm going to just reframe the camera as I'm talking here. But the safety aspect of this is big for me. I like knowing that it's so secure, and if I do fall, I have all that support right on my back here, on the back of my legs. I'm not gonna hurt. Okay, any of my other systems would keep me safe, but they, like I said, when you do fall, it hurts, and you're hurting for days. This system here, I like the fact that I'm not hurting, even on a shock load. You know, it's just I'm happy with this. So for me, it's perfect. Like I said, some of it may not be the best thing for you, but it's my job to show you what I'm using and what works for me. Hopefully you got some great ideas and tips out of this video. I'll have links for that Quickie notch. I'll have links for this harness. I did not say what this is. I should say it right here, and I'll probably put a text in there earlier for you, but this is a Petzel Falcon Mountain rescue harness. That's what this is. So it's designed almost, it's an in-between an arborist harness and a rescue harness, and not quite a climbing harness. It's kind of a specialty zone. But man, is it got so many features that fit perfect for us as tree stand hunters. So thanks for watching, appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.